the Akbar Nagar area of Lucknow, which has now been completely demolished. These were the mosques that has been demolished last night, late night, in the wee hours of Wednesday.
योगी आदित्यनाथ एक ही नजर से सबको आंकते हैं। जो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को चुनौती देगा, जो अवैध अतिक्रमण करेगा, कार्रवाई सबके खिलाफ होगी, चाहे वो हिंदू हो या मुस्लिम। अगर मस्जिदें गिराई गई, उनको जमींदोज किया गया, तो मंदिरों को पहले ही हटा लिया गया था, मंदिरों को पहले जमींदोज कर दिया गया था। कुकरेल रिवर फ्रंट योजना में जो काम होना है उसके तहत इसे पहले प्लेन किया जाएगा, मलबा हटाया जाएगा, उसके बाद यहाँ पर सौंदर्यीकरण किया जाएगा। लगभग 6 किलोमीटर लंबा ये रिवर फ्रंट पहले दौर में बनाया जाएगा।
जयपुर के मानसरोवर स्थित पृथ्वीराज नगर में ये 100 फीट का जो है रोड बनाया जाएगा, जिसको लेकर के दोनों तरफ के मकान और दुकान हटाए जा रहे हैं।
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The 4th June results of Lok Sabha elections demolished the dreams of the opposition and their hopes to bring down the Modi Sarkar, which came crumbling down. Even today, 2 weeks after the results, they continue to link all actions of the BJP to politics. Bulldozer justice, for example, in Uttar Pradesh's Akbar Nagar, the Kukrel River has been reduced to a narrow, stinking nala. Over 1,100 illegal homes and more than 100 commercial properties have clogged this river bed. But now the Yogi Sarkar has declared that enough is enough, and bulldozers have been brought in to remove these encroachments. Not before they've got themselves armed with verdicts from both the Allahabad High Court and the Supreme Court. Similar action has been taken in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, where local authorities have raised unlawful structures of greed. However, for the opposition, this is not bulldozer justice, but bulldozers of vendetta. They've quickly linked it to the election results and injected a political spin. Congress party's Jairam Ramesh has stated that BJP has been unable to digest June 4th mandate and hence lives of families are ruthlessly being destroyed. Speaking of the raising of encroachments of alleged cow smugglers in Madhya Pradesh's Mandla, AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi said that Muslims have been murdered on false charges of smuggling and theft. What was earlier done by a mob is now being done by the government. Listen in to the charges by the opposition.
11 लोगों के घर को बुलडोजर के जरिए तोड़ दिया गया और इस बुनियाद पर तोड़ दिया गया कि वो लोग गोश्त की स्मगलिंग करते थे। मैं मीडिया की रिपोर्ट्स देख रहा था कि अकील अहमद, आरिफ और आदिल ये भाई हैं। इनके वालिद का नाम जलील अहमद कुरैशी है। बुलडोजर से घर को तोड़ने से 2 दिन पहले वहां की पुलिस आई, उनके घर में तलाशी ली और फिर फ्रिज से पानी भी पिया और कहा कि नहीं, आपके पास कुछ नहीं निकला।
कि वो बिल्कुल कतई तौर पर एक तरफा तौर पर कार्रवाई करके मुस्लिम दुश्मनी का मुजाहिरा कर रहे हैं, खुली मुस्लिम दुश्मनी कि वो मुसलमानों से दुश्मनी कर रहे हैं, मुसलमानों को बर्बाद करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं और ये चीजें और जगह भी चलाने की वो कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि जहां जहां मुस्लिम आबादी है उनको अवैध कह दिया जाए। ये चीजें आप एक तरफ इन सरकारी जगहों से अवैध करके खाली करेंगे और फिर बड़े बड़े बिल्डरों से, अडानी जैसे बिल्डरों को वो जमीनें आप अलॉट करोगे, ये तो खुल्लम खुल्ला जुल्म है।
So let's look at the facts on whether this bulldozer action really was communal. Let's get you the Newshour fact check. In the Akbar Nagar demolition, it was the Supreme Court which refused to stop the Lucknow Development Authority's demolition drive. Also, not just mosques, even illegal temples have been raised in this area. However, the government has promised that over 1,800 displaced residents will get houses under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, and this has already happened for more than 1,000 families. Across the demolition drive in Jaipur, on the 19th of March, the High Court had ordered the municipal body to remove these encroachments on the 200 feet stretch of public road. Meanwhile, in the Mandla demolition drive, the superintendent of police has stated that adequate time was given to the encroachers to respond even before action was thought of and taken, while the SDM has said that the case is old and it's just that action is being taken now. So why is there such a hue and cry over a demolition drive unconnected between three different states, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh? Ladies and gentlemen, the legitimate question that we're asking on the Newshour tonight: bulldozer action, corrective or communal? That's the question, and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the Newshour at 9, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And joining the debate tonight, Dr. Ajay Alok, national spokesperson of the BJP, joining me live from Patna. Also joining me, Ishkaran Bhandari, advocate, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, scientist, Abbas Haider, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, advocate Adil Hassan, spokesperson of the AIMIM, and Kamru Zaman Chaudhary, political analyst, supports the Congress Party, joining me on the debate. And my first question to you, Abbas Haider. Abbas Haider, what's communal about this? This order exists from the Allahabad High Court. It exists from the Supreme Court. Action has been taken, and I can show you. These are social media posts of the Lucknow Development Authority of December last year, when no elections were in sight. All of this has been reported, has been notified, alternative arrangements have been made. Families have been asked to shift wherever the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana is providing them a roof over their head. But illegal constructions, can we actually, have that be protected by lawmakers in this country, politicians in this country? I want to ask you, is there anything that can be done in this country which is outside the purview or outside the limits of law, Abbas Haider?
Navika ji, I would like to start with a share of Mr. Bashir Badr कि उम्र बीत जाती है एक घर बसाने में, तुम तरस नहीं खाते बस्तियां जलाने में. Navika ji, the situation in Lucknow, in Akbar Nagar, is like people were living there from past 70, 80 years. They were paying house tax, they were paying electricity bill, they were giving water tax to the government. And look what the government has done in return. I agree with you. I agree. They might not have the legal authority over the land, but they were there. There is some humanitarian ground which should be considered, because those were Indian citizens. They were giving votes. I don't understand if this is a political of vendetta or whatever this is, but this should not be done. As far as you were telling the viewer that 1,800 or 1,000, I don't know, houses are given to the people who are affected. Can you go to them and ask, are they happy with those houses? If there were like 4 families living in a house, out of them only one has got house. Prime Minister who has promised to give pakka makan to every citizen by the end of 2022. What has happened to these citizens? Are they not citizens of our country? And as far as, they were talking about the Kukrel, this water bed and all. Navika ji, let me tell you, this is connected with the Gomti river front. And look at the condition of the Gomti river front. Even the lights are not switched on in the Gomti river front, so that people should not see that this was done during the Samajwadi Party period. Look at the condition. There is no maintenance over there. The people were stopped from going to Gomti riverfront, and they are talking that they want to beautify it. I mean, look at the hypocrisy of the government. They should have, given due maintenance to what the projects which were taken by the previous government, and they are talking about beautification and things like that.
Is this a political fight over what your party did when it was in government versus what the BJP is doing, or is this about encroachments on land illegally? What is this about, Ajay Alok? Is it just politics? 4th of June is being brought in. The fact that आप बदला ले रहे हो मुसलमानों से, that is being brought in. You are actually not being able to digest the mandate of June 4th, as Jairam Ramesh points out. What is the real issue? Are we saying that we should condone unlawful construction, or are we saying that political scores are being settled? Please respond.
First of all, there is no political scores being settled. This is not an issue at all. Second of the thing, this country is changing its way of acting, especially the governments. 10 years ago, there were governments in this country who never used to dare touch anything connected with Muslim, whether it is legal or whether it is illegal. Legal, forget it. Illegal, no question. They can go on building an empire, doing anything. You see in Allahabad, Atiq Ahmed, so many properties. You see Mukhtar Ansari, so many properties. You see in Madhya Pradesh, so many properties. In Bihar, Shahabuddin, so many properties. Nothing were being touched, whether it's of government or it's not of government. As if they had a parallel government within themselves, no government used to touch them. Now this habit is changing. Now everything is going according to law. In Akbarpur, Supreme Court itself ordered the state government to continue the demolition drive, and which is being continued. And they are not only Muslims, they are Hindus also. But people won't have eyes for them. They only have eyes for Muslim. Now the elections are over, a responsible government will act, whether it is Madhya Pradesh or whether it is Uttar Pradesh. It will act, and it will act as per law. The demolition drive, if it is in the government land, if it is illegal, it will continue. And that's what should be done in non-BJP government also. Why they are not doing it? This is the question you should be asking to them. Why you are not doing it?
But when Ajay Alok, you say that whether it was Bihar or Uttar Pradesh, Muslims' properties were never being touched. Now it will. Are you making this again about Muslims? Almost bringing in Hindus later by saying that sabka demolish ho raha hai. But you started with a binary on Muslims, that they were not being touched, now they are being touched. So is this really about payback time to Muslims who did not vote for the BJP?
Muslims, we all know in this country, and we all have a perception that Muslims, by and large, do not vote for BJP. So this is nothing new to us. Secondly, it's not a binary what I'm touching. I'm just answering to what Asauddin Owaisi and people like Jairam Ramesh and people from Samajwadi Party start accusing us. Because for us, it's not Muslim or Hindu. For us, it's an illegal occupancy. It's an illegal structure which needs to be demolished as a part of the government. It's their problem that they see that the Muslim structures are being demolished. It's not the government's problem. So it's not binary. So I said, this, before our government, it has been a habit of government, state government or government of India, to let this go, and especially in terms of Muslims. They have created this binary. We have not. We are acting according as per law. Otherwise, Supreme Court would have stopped us.
Abbas Haider, counter.
Navika ji, even in 2019 and 14, as per Mr. Alok, Muslim might have not voted for Bharatiya Janata Party. But what happened this time? When I say vendetta, I mean vendetta against the voters of Uttar Pradesh. Because there are hundreds of Hindus living in Akbar Nagar. There were 4 temples demolished in Akbar Nagar. So basically they were talking about Sanatan Dharm, Hindu Dharm. Now they have turned atheists, these Bharatiya Janata Party guys. You should ask them.
So then Abbas Haider, you are saying that this was not communal. It was being done to mandirs and it was being done to masjids. So why is the opposition making this about a communal attack that, they're going after Muslims? Well, you've demolished your own argument, Abbas Haider. Let me get in Kamru Zaman Chaudhry. Kamru Zaman ji. Kamru Zaman Chaudhry, the question here is that Jairam Ramesh says that, BJP hasn't been able to digest the mandate of June 4th. I want to understand, what has the demolition drive got to do with the mandate of June 4th? And whose indigestion should we talk about? The opposition's or the BJP's?
Navika ji, first and foremost, you understand the sequence of events over the last 10 years. The successive demolition being carried out particularly against a particular community. I will not mince my words in saying a particular community, that is the Muslim community. Even the Punjab and Haryana court had already mentioned during the new demolition case of Mewat, wherein its case it stated, I am quoting verbatim, the Punjab and Haryana High Court called the bluff by openly asking whether such acts were an exercise of ethnic cleansing. The court observed in an order the issue also arises whether the buildings belonging to a particular community are being brought down under the guise of law and order problem and an exercise of ethnic cleansing is being conducted by the state. Very important observation by the Punjab and Haryana court. And this is not in isolation. A sequence of events, let me just permit me 2 minutes, let me cite some examples out here. In September 23, 2001, we all know the famous incident of Assam eviction drive, wherein 2 people were killed in the Assam police firing. In June 10, 2022, Afrin Fatima's house, a JNU student and a social activist, her house was bulldozed.
I'm talking about Uttar Pradesh, I'm talking about Jaipur in Rajasthan, I'm talking about Madhya Pradesh, but you will talk about no. When you're talking about a verdict of the Punjab and Haryana High Court, I'm talking about the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court, in this particular case of Akbar Nagar, you know what it said? And this was Justices Sanjeev Khanna and Dipankar Datta. They said, we are in agreement with the findings recorded by the High Court in the impugned judgment that the colony in question has been constructed in the floodplain area. It's an accepted and admitted position that the petitioners do not have any documents or title. In fact, their claim is based on adverse possession, etc. In view of the said position, we are not inclined to interfere with the impugned judgment insofar as it directs eviction of the petitioners and demolition of the unauthorized construction made in the floodplain areas. Now, if this is the Supreme Court, if the government is following the Supreme Court order, after all the petitioners went there, why are you calling this anything other than lawful activity being taken by the administration?
Let me just counter you. Navika, most of the city of Lucknow is based on Nazul land. Mostly owned by the state government's revenue department, please get the facts correct, and on which people with long tenures typically received ownership rights. The BJP government, however, doesn't want give this right to the Akbar Nagar residents, who incidentally happen to be more Muslims out there. I'm not telling that the Hindus are there.
While hands are going up on the panel, the law has been interpreted by the Supreme Court, not in the manner Kamruzaman Chaudhary is doing, but let me get in on the law, let me get in Ishkaran Bhandari. Ishkaran Bhandari, Kamruzaman Chaudhary is interpreting the judgment of the Supreme Court almost the way he wants it, distorting it and completely taking away the essence of the judgment and making this political and communal.
This is not distortion, this is outright lying. This is an interpretation which is so wrong that you can only say that you are doing politics on a legal judgment. But let us come to the issue. It's a very serious issue. 5 days ago, I will not quote something old, 5 days ago, Yamuna floodplain, Prachin Shiv Mandir, the government wanted to demolish it. They went to High Court, did not get a stay. Supreme Court did not get a stay. Supreme Court said zero zone. You cannot have construction on the floodplain. A Prachin Shiv Mandir got demolished in Delhi. So there is no communal angle to when you construct buildings on the riverbed except to do naked vote bank politics. Now we have certain states where we hear if you do traffic violation, come on the wrong side, they might not challan you based on preferences and vote bank. But that does not make it right. And if a correct government comes and challans people coming from the wrong side, risking their life and the life of the other person, then it is the right action. Let's deal with this illegal construction. How short is our memory? Uttarakhand 2013, 6,000 people died. One of the biggest reason was illegal construction on the riverbed. Once there is rains, the rainwater comes, it has no path to go, it demolishes buildings, then debris collects and it is a rolling cascading effect. 2021, 200 people lost. Kerala, nothing to do with BJP, is clearing construction from coastal regulation zone. So it is very, very clear, except for political purposes, it is the duty of government to do so. But second aspect, which is very important, Navika ji, we need to know. Let me tell you, as a lawyer, Delhi, an illegal colony, there is a fixed rate, 1.5 lakh rupees for a lender or 2 lakh rupees. 4-story building, 8 lakh rupees made. 100 buildings in one small colony, 80 crore rupees is the corruption while you are posted there. So the solution, of course, demolitions have to do on riverbed, forest land, lands which are sensitive ecologically, which can cause loss of life. But the solution will lie when we start jailing and punishing people posted there, be it a councillor, be it a MLA, be it a JE, be it a development authority person, because they allow these construction to go through, they retire, they get their pension, they get their bribes. If a person does not want illegal construction to occur there, if the department, if the politician is not in cahoots, not an inch of illegal construction can happen on riverbed. So we have to have solution, and we have to have an enforcement of that solution, recover money from these people, then give it to people who are living there, from the politician as well as the bureaucrat. But
well said, but let me pick up the issue. Let me pick up the issue of Madhya Pradesh, where demolitions were done. 11 houses were demolished, Anand Ranganathan, because there was a suspicion that there was beef, bovine remains, etc. Now, there are cases of demolition and there are other cases. We've heard the similar cases, a Clark's case of 2015, nobody's forgotten. The fact of the matter is, where do we draw the line? And whether everything is about unlawful construction, or is there a political and a communal angle also associated when you bring in issues of beef in the fridge?
Good evening, Navika, and good evening to my fellow panelists. Look, the issue is not about the bulldozing per se. The issue is that there is no limit on the victim card. The issue is that for some people, Indian law is below Sharia law. There are 4 issues here. Number 1, the Supreme Court has not stopped such bulldozings. It has said there should be no illegal bulldozing, and the UP government asserts and has shown to the Supreme Court has accepted it, that there is no illegal bulldozing going on. Number 2, as far as these particular properties are concerned, ample notice was given. They have been made illegal, and it is downright dangerous. And on other riverbeds, specifically, for example, on Yamuna, Hindu temples and properties have also been demolished. Then these people do not go on the streets and protest. Number 3, the issue is not Hindu-Muslim, for heaven's sake, as many Hindu properties have also been demolished. And Navika, historically as well, the bulldozing of gangster Vikas Dubey's properties being just one example. Strange, isn't it, that all those outraging now were totally silent then? They didn't say Yogi was being communal and selective in demolishing Hindu properties. Why? Yogi has thus far demolished thousands of illegal properties worth 2,500 crores in the last 5 years. Majority of them belong to Hindus, but then not a squeak comes out from them. These demolitions are religion agnostic, but your eyes are not. Number 4, I've said this multiple times, Navika, and especially after the Khargon stone throwing incident, that revenge bulldozing rioters' homes is, in my views, against natural justice. Because even if you want to punish the rioter by demolishing his home, you are also punishing his family, wife and children who are innocent. You can't transfer guilt of culpability in a crime to a relative. That's against natural justice. And even if the government says the properties being demolished are on encroached land, there is still illegality and against natural justice if enough notice has not been given. But in this case and every other case, notice has been given. Finally, just give it 10 seconds because this is important. I am astonished by the shameless hypocrisy of those outraging that bulldozing homes on encroached land is illegal. These are the same Chauthi-fail Muppets, Navika, who supported the blatantly illegal road and highway blockade of Shaheen Bagh and Singhu borders and the anti-CA and anti-farm law protests. For a collective 2 years, tens of thousands of crores of loss, tens of millions of commuters inconvenience, tens of thousands of businesses suffered, but these jackfruits never outraged on illegality of those criminal blockades. लेकिन जान इनको अचानक लॉ याद आ गया.
और लॉ, आदिल हसन साहब, आप तो एडवोकेट हैं. The law is very clear. The Supreme Court, the Allahabad High Court have all given their judgments. And what the government is doing in Uttar Pradesh is purely by the letter and spirit of the judgment that they have in their favor. And I have the judgment copy. The judgment copy is from March of 2024. तब तो चुनाव नहीं हो रहे थे. मार्च से जून तक इंतजार किया. If they wanted to make this an issue of punishing Muslims, they could have done it during elections, but they didn't do it. They waited, they went through the legal procedures till March 31st. The Allahabad High Court stayed it, matter went to Supreme Court, the judgment came from there. The fact of the matter is it's gone through every route and every process of trying to get justice. Where is the problem now other than the political eyes and the eyes of religion that you are seeing in a matter of law?
मैम ये एक सच्चाई है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जजमेंट था, आपकी बात सही है, लेकिन सुप्रीम कोर्ट के पास ऐसा हजारों जजमेंट आया जिसमें ह्यूमैनिटेरियन अप्रोच पे सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने उसको देखा है. ये एक सच्चाई है. और आप जहां तक बुलडोजर की बात करें, मध्य प्रदेश में 11 घर का हुआ, ऐसा हजार चीजें. चलिए पटना में अभी अजय आलोक इतनी बड़ी बड़ी बात कर रहे हैं, चलिए गांधी मैदान में चलिए, है हिम्मत, बड़ी बड़ी होटल है वहां पर, पूरा इंक्रोचमेंट क्या है हिम्मत. अजय आलोक का हाईकोर्ट का ऑर्डर था, उसके बाद बुलडोजर नहीं चला, रुका, उसमें लोग ने उसमें पैरवी हुई. ऐसे हजारों जगह है बिहार में. शहाबुद्दीन का नाम इसलिए याद आता है कि शहाबुद्दीन इन नीतीश कुमार की सरकार को गिराया था. नीतीश कुमार के प्रवक्ता थे, इसलिए शहाबुद्दीन साहबजादा थे. एक भी उन पर इलीगल केस नहीं था शहाबुद्दीन पर इनकम टैक्स का. लेकिन शहाबुद्दीन नहीं बोलेंगे, अतीक अहमद नहीं बोलेंगे तो रात में अजय आलोक को नींद नहीं आएगी. जब तक जदयू सरकार में थी तो वही नीतीश कुमार जब मुसलमानों के घर में जाते थे तो वो अच्छे थे. आज नीतीश कुमार से इनकी अदावत हो गई तो आज भी अलग हो गए हैं. तो मुसलमान का नाम लिए बिना भाजपा को नींद नहीं आती है. इनको मुसलमानों का शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहिए कि मुसलमान है तो ये जिंदा है, नहीं तो मुसलमान मस्जिद मंदिर पाकिस्तान बिरयानी शिरवानी टोपी दाढ़ी के अलावा अजय आलोक के पास कोई हिम्मत नहीं है बात करने की. अभी 240 पर आए हैं, अभी 140 पर आ जाएंगे. हरियाणा और महाराष्ट्र बचा है, झारखंड बचा है.
आप कितने पर हैं?
हराया है.
AIMIM की कितनी सीटें हैं?
आनंद रंगनाथन जी से पूछिए.
AIMIM की कितनी सीटें हैं हुजूर? 240 वालों को आप ललकार रहे हैं.
हम सुनिए, आपकी तरह दरबारी नहीं करते. एक पर्दे मुजाहिद बैरिस्टर असदुद्दीन ओवैसी काफी है. एक पार्लियामेंट में काफी हम डिग्री नहीं छुपाते हैं. एक बैरिस्टर 543 पे भारी है.
अजय आलोक फर्स्ट एंड देन आई एम कमिंग टू यू आनंद रंगनाथन. अजय.
Navika, when debate is going in a civilized manner, the rabbit element comes and they just vitiate the atmosphere.
Rabbit nahi, I am not like you.
When we are talking of illegal demolitions, which is being constructed on government land,
Advocate Hassan, you made your point. Your point. Please listen to the counter coming in from Ajay Alok. It's just courtesy on a national television debate.
Yes,
Ajay Alok.
I know the courtesy. Don't teach.
When there is a illegal demolition, they have a problem if they see a Muslim eye. When I'm saying that the Hindu houses are also being demolished, they won't give a hoot to it. I'll give you one example. There is a movie, Hamare 12. The whole Muslim institutions, organizations, at least 7 or 8 of them, approached Mumbai High Court that to ban the movie. I mean, what is this? Today, of course, the Mumbai High Court just allowed the release of the movie. Hindu does not have 12 childs. But Hamare 12, you take it on yourself and you say it's an insult to the Muslim culture. This is the problem. This is the psyche that is the problem. How can you exercise the right? There are innumerable instances of Waqf board claiming lands of innocent Muslims, and they have taken it, whether in Hyderabad, whether in Mumbai, whether in Patna, any place, whether in Maharashtra. Now all these reforms need to be done. These are irregularities which any government must not tolerate, whether state or center.
Well said.
Just in the name of the religion, you cannot have a super status or super citizen status. No.
Okay. Anand Ranganathan.
Navika, it's a very simple question. It's a very simple question to this, I think he said he's advocate. Is he for or is he against the illegal Hindu temple that was brought up on Yamuna riverbed and that was demolished under court orders? Is he for or is he against that? It's a simple question.
Respond, Advocate Hassan.
मैम कोई भी चीज ह्यूमैनिटेरियन अप्रोच सुप्रीम कोर्ट के पास, हर सुप्रीम कोर्ट से बड़ा इस देश में कोई अदालत नहीं है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट के पास ह्यूमैनिटेरियन अप्रोच होता है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट हजारों जगह सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने
ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट का तो जजमेंट है, ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जजमेंट है।
लेट मी स्पीक। अजय आलोक बताएं, 2005 से नीतीश कुमार की सरकार है, इरशादुल्लाह वक्फ बोर्ड के चेयरमैन है। चैलेंज करता हूं
डिबेट sorry to say nothing's happened in Bihar immediately right now. You may get into historical facts. I'm talking about Uttar Pradesh, I'm talking about Madhya Pradesh, I'm talking about Jaipur. Can you respond to these questions? Is there anything illegal done by the administration?
It is total act done by Uttar Pradesh government, just motive कि मुसलमानों को परेशान करना है।
How?
ये उनकी मानसिकता।
What about this? What about the judgment of the Supreme Court, my friend? You're an advocate.
I can give 1,000 judgment which is not implemented. I can give 1,000 judgment which is not implemented.
Ishkaran Bhandari, the argument here is that there are many judgments which are not implemented. Why is this one implemented? And therefore it is communal. Please respond.
No, Navika ji, the argument is slightly different. The argument is I am doing an illegal act, I am doing a criminal act, but because I was allowed to do it earlier when probably the government was favorable, now if a government comes and imposes the law, follows the law, follows the procedure also, gives notice, gives me a chance to go to High Court, gives me a chance to go to Supreme Court, but even then if you do it, then of course you are anti-Muslim in this country. It is merely an enforcement of law after procedural requirements being fulfilled, after Supreme Court passing a judgment on it. If this sort of a judgment does not get enforced in this country, then we may as well not have a Supreme Court.
Well, I want to ask you Abbas Haider. Abbas Haider, there can be only two choices. One, rule of law. The other is कि कोई भी इस दुनिया में कुछ भी करे. मुझे समाजवादी पार्टी का जो ऑफिस है लखनऊ में बहुत अच्छा लगता है. उसका गार्डन बहुत अच्छा लगता है. वहां मैं तंबू गाड़ लूं, रहने लग जाऊं, अलाउ कर देंगे मुझे? मैं भी तो सिटीजन हूं भाई.
नाविका जी,
कुछ तो दर्द रखिए.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट,
मैं भी आ जाऊं?
हाँ, तो आप भी आ जाइए आनंद रंगनाथन जी, हम लोग वहां चल के तंबू गाड़ते हैं.
बिल्कुल आइए, आपका स्वागत है. यू आर मोस्ट वेलकम नाविका जी. बट लेट मी टेल यू, द सुप्रीम कोर्ट हैज नॉट स्टेड द डेमोलिशन ड्राइव. आई एग्री विद दैट बिकॉज दे डोंट हैव द क्लियर टाइटल ऑन दैट. बट नाविका जी, द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, वी लिव in a welfare state and it is the responsibility of the government to be quite sensitive. There shouldn't be vendetta against citizens entirety. When I talk about vendetta, I talk about vendetta against citizens of Uttar Pradesh in entirety, because the Bharatiya Janata Party has lost in Uttar Pradesh. Navika ji, their disruption of education of children, their disruption of families, they have lost their livelihood. There were hundreds of shops where people were doing menial businesses. They have lost their livelihood. What can be done about those people? And I'm not talking about any particular religion, caste or community. It is about people, poor people. And
that is why rehabilitation is done.
Sure.
That is why rehabilitation is done. They've been given new houses on the Lucknow Hardoi road. Basant Kunj, I think, is the name of the colony. But Ajay Alok, आपकी सीटें 62 से लेकर 33 पर आ गई हैं उत्तर प्रदेश में. आप सबसे बदला ले रहे हैं क्योंकि उत्तर प्रदेश ने आपको सीटें नहीं दी. प्लीज जवाब दीजिए.
To attach a political angle for an administrative subject is a very easy thing. But let's not forget that Uttar Pradesh, we have a state government which is in absolute majority on its own. Now, I would like to ask Samajwadi Party, my dear friend, that there were hundreds of shops and people were having their livelihood. If tomorrow somebody decides, any Muslim decides to go and open shop in Mecca or Kaaba, will he be allowed there to open shop for his livelihood? What kind of an argument is this?
I mean, we are talking about a...
Or in front of a Jama Masjid, will it be allowed?
This is not...
Delhi?
I'll look by this.
No, it's a sensitive issue.
This is not...
Then there's a law of land everywhere, sir. You have to respect the law of land.
I mean, we are talking about people.
You have to respect the law of land.
And you are.
अगर वो illegal है तो वो हटेगा. आप उसमें हिंदू मुस्लिम्स को क्यों ला रहे हैं बीच में? Why you are getting Hindu Muslims? Asauddin University or you guys?
I know what you're going to do. In couple of years, you will
every place has a sanctity, every place has a law.
You have thrown poor out of there who don't have even means to go to do.
Where we are constructing high-rise buildings for the rich? It is the government job to construct. Is it the government job to construct high-rise buildings for the rich?
You will do it.
What logic you're talking?
Anand Ranganathan,
this is what you have
Anand Ranganathan, before I come to you.
This is the government for the rich, not
please.
What we have distributed?
नाविका देखिए मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ प्लीज थैंक यू जस्ट 5 सेकेंड यू सी पहले मैंने एकदम सिंपल सवाल पूछा था रिलीजन एग्नोस्टिक सवाल था इनफैक्ट समवन कुड से वो तो एंटी हिंदू सवाल था वो भी आंसर नहीं दिया एडवोकेट जी ने अब मैं अब्बास भाई से अपने प्यारे अब्बास भाई से एक सिंपल सवाल पूछता हूं येस एंड नो वाला सवाल है डू यू बिलीव अब्बास भाई दैट ब्लॉकेडिंग ऑफ अ मेन रोड फॉर शाहीन बाग प्रोटेस्ट वाज इट लॉफुल और नॉट वाज इट लॉफुल और नॉट अब्बास भाई अब बता दीजिए Was it lawful or not? Shaheen Bagh का illegal
हमारी कंट्री में आनंद भाई we don't have citizens don't have right to protest. It is आपको लगता है सरकार
Yes, you have a right to protest.
ऐसे काम क्यों करते
हैं? You have the Ramlila grounds for protest. Shaheen Bagh is not a place for protest. There are designated areas. There are designated areas. You have to take permission. You can go and protest.
Come out and protest.
क्या चल रहा है नाविका
नाविका जी स्टूडेंट्स आर प्रोटेस्टिंग आप नीट के पेपर लीक करा रहे हैं यू नो एवरीवेयर पीपल हु आर सीकिंग जॉब उनके वो प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं सब प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं
नाउ वी हैव गॉन टू द सब्जेक्ट ऑफ नीट Kamru Zaman Chaudhary when questions are asked either the subject is changed or the perspective is changed or just the parameters of the debate are changed. I am asking you tonight simply, when there is a Supreme Court order and a Allahabad High Court order empowering the administration to take down and demolish illegal structures, provide alternative accommodation to these people, which is being done, and the colony, the area, the residents, everything has been described, given, and notifications put there. Even camps were held for people to come register themselves so that they became eligible for rehabilitation. Then why is this being made into a communal and a political fight? I'm asking you a very simple question.
Very simply, I will try to answer your query, but I need 1 minute to answer it. I hope I'm not interrupted. In August 2022, when the Yogi government tried to bring this proposal of beautification of the Kukrel Nala, like bringing in a night safari, the India's first night safari, at that time also we protested and we objected that around 10,000 people will be affected in this Akbar Nagar area of Lucknow. Please do not do this. You are spoiling the livelihood of the people out there who are on a hand-to-mouth situation out here. But the Bharatiya Janata Party runs for the rich, is by the rich, for the rich and of the rich. It does not care about the people. Hindus, Muslims, equally are affected out here.
Kamru Zaman Chaudhary, I don't know where is the legal sanctity in your argument. Ishkaran Bhandari, when the Congress party boycotts journalists like me, मेरे भी तो लाइवलीहुड पे लात मार रहे हैं. Can I take them to court? Can you please advise me free on national television?
Navika ji, it is a discrimination against you and a discrimination against one of the top editors of this country and a female. Of course, if you wanted, I would take action on that. But let's come to the debate here. It is so easy to do secular politics in this country. You don't have to answer on facts that you don't have a title on the land. You don't have to answer on law that is there any documentation which allows a person to build a house on a riverbed. You don't have to answer on procedure. Did you get a notice from the government? Or you did not get a notice, they got a notice. You don't have to answer on the High Court judgment which says that it has to be demolished. You don't have to answer on the Supreme Court judgment that the demolition has to go all you have to do is, it is an anti-Muslim government and that answers fact, procedure, substance, everything. This is so easy for them to do. But
add to it the June 4th results and the fact that Uttar Pradesh did not perform well for the BJP, and then you have a motive in place as well, and that motive is vendetta for people not voting for the BJP. And there you have it, a cocktail of political controversy and confrontation. Facts, of course, do not matter. Facts can take a break. After all, it's summer, post-elections, and breaks are the order of the day. In this case, legality can take a break. Facts can take a break. Rehabilitation and alternative amenities provided, all of those things can take a break because politics must rage on, whatever be the temperatures, whatever be the season, whatever be the time of the year. That's how Indian democracy operates. We leave it at that. Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on debate number 1.